everybody, it's Gareth here from D-Toxd in Spain, Operation COVID HQ, and I'm using my behind head projector. I haven't got anybody to press the play button for me, so I have to press play and then come around and walk in, and then when I'm finished I've got to go around and press stop and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm waffling. The other day we did a video, and in that video we were talking about some of the things that you could do to help you during these sort of times. And one of the things that we spoke about was a mood monitor that I use in my daily journaling. And a few of you have commented and asked if you can get a copy of the mood monitor. So what I've done now is I've created a download, and I'm going to put the link at the bottom when I type the description for this video. But what I wanted to do quickly was just run through it with you, because with everything that's going on right now, there will be a lot of people out there that struggle with anxiety, that struggle with mental health problems, that deal with depression. And at times like this, when things are so uncertain, it can be very easy for those anxiety levels to go up, for depression to get slightly worse, especially if you're in lockdown and isolation on your own. I live on my own, so I'm at home at the moment on my own. I don't have much contact with the outside world except for daily phone calls with the people that I love and care about. And yeah, it can be a little bit suffocating, it can be a little bit claustrophobic, and it can be a little bit difficult. So it can affect your anxiety levels, and it can affect your depression and general mood. So the reason that I use the mood monitor is that it helps me to monitor where I'm at. It helps me to take a look at what's going on so that I can measure it and adjust it and adapt things if necessary. Because a lot of times we just bumble through life without acknowledging what's going on in our body until it's too late. In times like this, we can't bumble through life. We're stuck at home, we're stuck indoors. Maybe we can do a little bit of work online or stuff like that, but we do spend a lot of time on our own. So this mood monitor really helps you to kind of measure things and gauge where you're at. So I just want to run through it quickly. You probably might not be able to see it properly on the screen, but when you download it, don't worry, it's not going to be all in black like this. It'll be in white so that you can print it out. But it's basically broken down into 3 sections. We have our anxiety over here, because we have the anxieties when we feel anxious. Sometimes it's normal to have anxiety if we're doing a test or if we're going somewhere new or things like that. But people that struggle with anxiety will know that there can be no given set date or time when our anxiety levels will be up. So we have anxiety, and that's about how much you're affected by stress and what's going on around you. Then we go into the middle one here, and that is all to do with depression and physical. Now, we know that depression is a chemical imbalance and is what goes on inside the mind, but it also affects us physically. So that's the reason why we've put depression and physical together, because it's about how you feel physically, your sleep patterns, your energy level, the way that your body feels and all that sort of stuff. And then over here, the last column, we have our general mood, which is our outlook on life, our approach and our attitude. And our general mood can be affected by how we feel physically, but it can also be affected by the level of anxiety. And it's the same the other way around. Our depression can affect our anxiety, and our depression can affect our general mood, and the same with anxiety. So what we have here is a score of 1 to 10 for each of these. Now, these 1 to 10s are going to be your own individual scores, your own individual feelings. If you deal with anxiety, if you deal with depression, you'll know when things are manageable and you'll know when things are bad. So it's up to you to scale it how you want. And we've put some colors by the numbers. The green dots are where we like to aim for. That's kind of like the ideal scenario and that sort of stuff. The orange, think of it like the amber light in the robots or the traffic lights. It's when we need to be a little bit cautious or we need to watch what's going on. And the red is when it's in the danger zone. So when we get scores that are in the red, it means that something needs to be addressed. And these are going to apply for each one. So I'm just going to try and bumble through this as quickly as possible because I don't want to take up too much of your time. So let's start with the anxiety. We have here a score of 1 to 4. So that means that your anxiety levels are pretty low, they're pretty manageable, life is good, I'm generally feeling relaxed and okay. When we go into the orange sections, which is kind of like 5, 6, and 7, that's when we start to feel somewhat a little bit uneasy, that we feel that something is not quite right, we feel a little bit nervous, that sort of stuff, a little bit edgy. And then when we go into the 8, 9, and 10, that's kind of like when we feel overwhelmed, where our hands are maybe sweating, our heart is racing if you struggle with anxiety, and we kind of like look at what's going on, what's going to happen, and all that sort of stuff. So we need to take a look at that. When things are in the orange level, like I say, we need to be aware of it. We need to manage it. When things are in the red level, that's when we need to address it. It's important that we do something to address it. When it comes to anxiety, maybe it's talking to someone. Maybe it's interrupting your pattern and doing something different. Whatever it is, if your scores are up here with your anxiety, then something needs to be addressed. We're now going to go on to the depression and the physical, and you can see here that we've got reds and oranges at both the top and the bottom. Now the reason that we do that for both the depression and the general mood is sometimes we don't want to feel too low, but we also don't want to feel too high. We don't want to get too excited. We don't want to push ourselves too much because we're feeling like a 10 out of 10. We got to do loads of things. So with depression, like the red levels mean that we are either tired and drained, we have sore joints and our body feels heavy, or we feel emotional, or sometimes when we're at the top here, we can feel numb. And that kind of like stops us from listening to our body. When we've got these orange levels with our depression and our physical state of being, we feel restless. We have broken sleep patterns. We don't sleep very well. We do sleep, but it's just a very restless sleep, and we wake up feeling a little bit drained. And we also feel a little bit kind of like lethargic and achy. And then we go here to the green levels, the 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that's when we're feeling refreshed. We're feeling well rested. We kind of like feel like we're a little bit balanced and everything's okay. And for these, it's important to have a middle ground. It's not always important to be a 10. We don't want to always be a 10, because sometimes it's then we get a little bit overexcited and da. So even for people that don't struggle with mental health problems or don't struggle with depression, it's also important to be aware where we are up here, because sometimes when we are feeling really good physically, we can push ourselves. And when we push ourselves, we produce too much cortisol, we produce too much adrenaline, we produce too much noradrenaline, and that can start interfering with our sleep patterns and all that sort of stuff. So we need to try and aim for the middle ground. Kind of like almost think of it like a 5 out of 10 when it comes to depression and physical is almost like a 10 out of 10. We aim for that middle ground. And the last one we're going to go on to is our general mood. Again, we've got the red and the orange at the top and the bottom. So the green means, as Michael Bublé would say, I'm feeling good. We're trying to aim for that. It's our general outlook. We feel positive. We feel like, yeah, I can manage this. Okay, there's stuff going on around me that's out of my control, but I'm okay with that. We go on to the orange, and it means that we're a little bit above or below. We kind of like maybe are a little bit low, or we may be a little bit over positive, or whatever it is. It just means that we need to be aware of what's going on internally. And then when we've got the 10 for our general mood, or the 1 and the 2, the 1 and the 2 means that we feel like absolute crap. We don't feel like going outside. We're almost thinking of like, what's the point? Or if we're at the top, it's like, yeah, do you know what? Right now I can go outside and I don't have to listen to any rules and da. So again, we kind of like are aiming for the middle ground. And then at the bottom, we've left a blank space that you can write in, like, is there anything in particular that needs to be addressed right now? Maybe there's certain situations that are creating stress. Maybe there's certain situations that are making a little bit of anxiety. But whatever it is, you can make some notes there. Now for me, I use this in the morning and in the evening and in the middle of the day, because I need to be constantly aware of what's going on in my body. When I measure it and track it for a period of time, no, over there, come on, I'm on TV. I have animals that are trying to interrupt me. When I can measure it and track it every day, I can see if there's any contributing factors that might lead to me feeling a certain way. And when I can measure those contributing factors, it means that I can adjust things. It means that I can make changes moving forward necessarily. Kind of like, think of it like when you're learning how to write, and at first you struggle to write the letter A, but you try over and over again, and then you understand how to do it. It's the same with these kind of things. When you practice and you track and you track and you track, then you can look back and you can say, okay, when XYZ happens, that contributes to me feeling a certain way. So now when I look forward, I can say, okay, if there's anything similar to XYZ, what adjustments can I make? So, like I say, I'm going to put a link down below so that you can click on it and download the PDF document. Take a look at it, go through it. If you have any questions, just post them on the comments below or send a message to me, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have on this. But I hope that you found that helpful, and if you know anybody else out there who struggles with depression, who struggles with anxiety and that sort of stuff, especially at a time right now, please, 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 just share this with them, because you never know, it might be a simple little tool that can help them get through these tough times that we're going through. So, I hope that you're all okay. Like we always say, stay safe and let's stay healthy together. And from Operation COVID HQ, I'm going to say bye-bye for now. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, you see, nobody to press stop, so I've got to go around. Bye.